Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. Today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock. Let's go over what is happening to the stock, what we can expect moving forward, and all of that good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my analysis, technical analysis, etc., and you want to hear it pretty much every day the market is open, and I have a membership section on YouTube where I share my thoughts every day the market is open live throughout the whole trading day. As I'm seeing obviously something worth updating. For instance, this morning, pretty much right as the market opened, it was like within the first hour, I even said, NVIDIA is getting rejected by that 20 DMA / reversion line at today's high, which you can see in this screenshot right here. This is just an example of the kind of post I'll say for the NVIDIA group, which is what happened. This was at 9:49 in the morning, right? Pretty much 20 minutes after market open. And then I said, but again, as long as we turn the 21 EMA or the 140 to 141-ish into support, I still favor a move higher. Worst case, we see a few day consolidation between 140 to 143. That's exactly what we did. We ended up holding pretty much right exactly around here. We can see 140.9. And look what happened throughout the rest of the day. We got that rally, and better yet, we came to my target. The main target I set well back in advance, back when it was all the way over here. You can even go back to this video on Wednesday, the 27th of November. Go back to that video and watch it, right? Even on this video, I mentioned my target of 145, that 618 Fibonacci retracement. That was my target. And well, we're here. We are here. We are at my target that I mentioned. And the question now, of course, is probably what happens now, right? So again, this is what I want to make very clear. Okay, let's talk about the bullish side first. Let's talk about the bullish side. What is the bullish side here, right? The bullish side, well, there's one, right? There's absolutely one, right? The MACD is getting close to crossing. Stochastic is getting close to crossing. Those are some good signs. I'm not going to lie. Those are good signs. Now, obviously, they don't, it's not everything. That could not just be simply enough. For instance, when the MACD, NVIDIA had this massive sell-off, had a massive rally. The MACD crossed pretty much right on this candle. And that ended up being the top, actually, because we just went sideways and then we went back down, right? So again, you want to make that clear. The MACD is great and the stochastic, they're both phenomenal tools, but they're not everything. They're not everything. So despite them getting ready to cross, this could just be what happened here, in theory, of course. So, let's not get too overly excited just yet for that. But nonetheless, them crossing is obviously better than them not crossing. That's for sure. On top of that, the main thing I'll be looking for as well is, there is a chance we do a little bit higher. Like I said, my main target was about 145, which is that 618 Fibonacci retracement, and I'm measuring it on the bearish side mainly because we set a lower low. I only measure from the bullish POV, if you will. If we're setting, if we just set a fresh higher high and we're coming back down to essentially set a fresh higher low. We're not doing that. We're doing the opposite essentially, right? We set a higher high, but then we set a lower low. Now I'm measuring from this new lower low. Anyway, we're here, right? Best case I can see right now, while still actually maintaining this potential bearish thesis, which I had pretty much still since back here, despite the short-term bullish momentum. I said that very obviously, is up to this green lines up here around the 786 to the 82, whatever, something like that. 786 Fibonacci retracement, which is sitting around 148, closer to even 150, right? Somewhere around this range. That to me is still a potential target. We could potentially get there. I don't expect us to still, but that is still a possibility, right? That is still a possibility for sure. Now, that's like the short-term bullish, right? That's the short-term bullish thing. Now, to kind of mix in the bearish and the bullish thing, what would make me turn overall back to being bullish on NVIDIA and not think of this potential move up that we just had as pretty much being a dead cat? What would have to change for me to, change my perspective on that? 150 needs to break and ideally even close above 150. If we can close above 150, then, and essentially break past these two green lines right here, the Fibonacci retracements, that would start making me much more convinced that this is not just a dead cat, and in fact NVIDIA is actually more bullish than I expected, right? And that would be a very good sign. I would love to be wrong, and that would essentially be that, right? Obviously that hasn't happened yet, and I don't know if that will. If it does, obviously we'll change our tune, but as of right now, it's not, and it hasn't. So I continue looking at the same projection I had ever since I called the bottom pretty much all the way down here using my favorite indicator, the bands, right? So that's that, right? That's really the most simple way of putting it. Now, again, let's go to the 4-hour chart. Remember when I talked about the bottom? Remember when I called it back there? Again, also on the last Wednesday, you can go watch the video, literally a week from today. We talked about it and we compared how, every bottom before an NVIDIA reached the same part of the bands, and the RSI was also oversold each and every single time. And how each time it rallied about 13% there, right? It rallied about 11.5% there. And now what are we at? We rallied pretty much 11%. So we're pretty much in that same general, rally percentage, if you will, from the bottom to what could be potentially that short-term top. right here that we're at right now. So that's something else to watch out for. So that rally has played out almost to perfection as a copy paste, right? So that's interesting. And on top of that, the other thing I'd watch out for is the 1 hour bands have also suggested that this move is essentially done. Why? Because sometimes the bands, what they like to do is they like to go from one end to the other. And in this case, what we did was we went from pretty much the one end over here, touching the red side of the oversold bands on the 1 hour, all the way to touching the red side of the overbought bands on the 1 hour. So that move has officially pretty much played out. And that's interesting to note as well. So that's kind of my overall thesis right now, right? The 1 hour RSI is also getting very, very overbought along with the stochastic. So again, I want to be overall bullish, and I want to overall tell you guys, it's going to 160 tomorrow, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to tell you what I personally think, and whether I'm right or wrong, that doesn't matter, right? I'll tell you what I personally believe in, and that's, again, this is still what I believe in. I believe this was the bottom, which it obviously was. We rally up to 145 Fibonacci retracement, best case closer to 148 to 149, which is that next Fibonacci retracement. But I expect one of these to reject, probably this one that we're at right now. And because we set a lower low here, I do expect NVIDIA, there is a potential chance that it comes back down all the way here, back into the mid-ish 130s, we'll say, potentially even to the low 130s once again over the next, week or so. That is an actual potential, especially when you take into account the fact that the market, in my opinion, short term, I want to make that very clear, is overbought. I do think the market is getting a little bit frothy short term, and I wouldn't be surprised if the market gets a small correction by about 2 to 3% over the next week or so. That really wouldn't fully shock me. And then the market comes back down, and then we correct from there, and we're good to go essentially from there, right? But again, I want to make it also very clear, the market itself, QQQ, SPY, very bullish, still very bullish, still making higher highs, still making higher lows. The market itself is looking phenomenal. There's no question about that. So anyone that's actually truly like overall bearish on the market is insane, in my opinion, right? There's no obvious proof that the market is bearish. In fact, if anything, it's proving that it's still bullish. However, short term, it does look a little frothy, and I wouldn't be surprised if the market at the very least goes sideways, if not get a small, again, 2 or 3% pullback. I don't know how long it'll take, maybe a week, whatever it takes, which again, could potentially affect NVIDIA, which could bring NVIDIA back down to the levels I just mentioned, which would be another drop of about, 6-ish, 7% or something like that, which lines up with the market pretty well as well. And that's kind of the main thing I'm expecting right now, right? Again, it's pretty simple stuff. RSI in the 4 hours overbought. NVIDIA's looking good, but I do think that this, move down is probably the next thing that should, in theory, happen. If not, then watch for the next level being 148 to 149. And if we ever break and especially close above 150, my thesis changes. And despite, obviously, I still think there'll be a pullback. The pullback will be much less steep, and I don't think we'll come back down to the low 130s anymore. And the pullback will most likely make its way back down, probably somewhere to about the 140, mid to low 140s instead. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of what I see right now for NVIDIA. In terms of options flow, the market was very bullish. As usual, the NVIDIA bulls are pulling money out of their behind, to say the least, right? Because it's just absolutely overwhelming the bears. It's almost laughable, to be completely honest with you, just how much bullish flow is seen on the stock. It's genuinely like, I've seen it so many times, and I still get shocked and honestly surprised just how much bullish flow gets like just thrown into the stock. It's truly, truly something special. It's very, very crazy. In terms of confirmed options flow, NVIDIA, let's take a look over here. I don't even see it. Where is it? Let's take a quick look over here. Not really seeing anything too crazy. Yeah, maybe a lot of them got closed. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'm blind, but can't really find it over here, so that's interesting. But nonetheless, that's kind of my overall perspective. So far, it's pretty much playing out almost exactly the way I thought it would, almost exactly the way I said it would, pretty much a week ago. And now it comes down to, will I be right about this general area potentially being the top, make one more move to the downside? And like I said, if we do make this move to the downside, I actually do expect this area to hold. And I actually do expect this to be pretty much the final move to the downside before we get a phenomenal end of year rally back up to closer to the 160s. That's my current projection, right? One more move down and then we rally to 160. We'll see. I could be wrong. Maybe we just go from here. Who knows? But that's what I think. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Peace.